So these are some of the areas we have been working with, and just to show you an example of how the houses are here. Uh, they're basically poorly built, and the roofs are just stacked upon each other with probably some wood, and as you can see here. So you have a couple of good houses around here as well on the other side, but then on this side you have something more like this. So this is a proper colony with people living in here and smaller houses and all that. That is Pastor Munna. So as you can see, some of these houses here are just literally on the edge of a plot of land given by the local authorities, and these people have just built up their houses here as well. The people living here are basically laborers, house helps, and auto rickshaws drivers. So a lot of the houses are built little by little with the money they can save up.
हाँ भाई यहाँ ଆସିଥିଲେ ପଡୁଛି ହେଲା हाँ हाँ
You can see someone's home here is completely destroyed.
हाँ हाँ
We've of course helped him with some money. We won't be able to completely build his home, but as you can see here, people have wrapped their homes up with the material given by the government. As you can see, people have their workplaces here as well, right next to their homes. Some of the unhealthy situations are, just living right next to a sewage dump, So these three men here are currently the husbands of three homes, where basically the cyclone had caused partial damage to their homes, where the bricks basically fell inwards and the roofs were totally damaged. The pictures were shown earlier when I had announced the assessment. After the assessment, so basically right now we've bought about 10 sheets of asbestos for them each, and some cement bags. So we're hoping that is able to cover up some of the damage, and then we've encouraged them to work together and basically work together to rebuild their homes again. You all heard when there was so much news about Orissa, and then all of a sudden nothing. No one knew what happened. There was no report, nothing. Well, today is that day where you get to hear about it, and you can ask me whatever questions you want to eventually after that. I'm very excited and I'm very thankful to God that we were able to go and complete our first national trip. And I'm so thankful for you guys for giving towards that as well. Some of you here, incredible blessing, the prayers, the support, all of you wanted to be there. I know some of you by names who wanted to be there but just couldn't eventually. Thank you so much for being with me, and thank you so much for being part of that whole experience. If I could just go to the next slide. When we originally wanted to go and help with the people who had gone through the disaster and the cyclone Fani, we thought we would go in and go as a big team. We'll go and help them. We'll go and build the houses alongside them. Unfortunately, that couldn't happen, but that didn't stop us from going and providing materials for those who lost and had damages to their houses. So we had a local church where we could create relationships, form connects, and we went and partnered with them. And the church's name is Christ Alive, and that's in Bhubaneswar. So we basically targeted a slum called Salia Sahi in Bhubaneswar, and that has about 200,000 people living there with jobs like auto rickshaw drivers, house helps, just taxi drivers, people with lower income jobs who are not able to meet up with their regular demands in terms of financial support. So the next slide shows Pastor Shanu just having the opportunity to talk to the people of the church, tell them about what a healthy church is like, the 5 purposes. Can I have the next slide, please? The one previous. Not there? All right. Well, this is basically the figures for the people who we helped out here. We were able to support 23 families. This includes entire roofing, some walls being put back together, and we were able to build back one house completely. This lady had been through so much hurt throughout several years. It's not just this year that has been a hard year for her. She's lost her husband. She has 3 kids, very young, who are working. They are laborers. She's a laborer as well. And we just couldn't stop and, not do anything for her. So her house was literally crumbling. I wish I could show you the pictures, but that will be uploaded later. Her house was literally crumbling from inside. So we decided that, no, we have to specially build this lady's house. And we went ahead and executed that. So that is currently being done right now. If you need any details, pictures about that, just personally message me and I'll be happy to keep you updated about that. My experience there was very different. I went in expecting, mission is meant to be tough, it's meant to be hard, it's meant to be, very depressing, so you kind of form those, ideas. Many of us have these ideas as well from what you've seen. But it was actually a very good trip for me. And the relationships I formed with Urban, the relationships I formed with Pastor Shanu, those are memories that I will not ever forget. You don't spend 5 days with somebody and not get to know them personally. You don't spend 5 days without being encouraged in the word by a fellow pastor, by someone who wants to see the betterment of the mission. So it was very good to hear from him. It was very good to, feel his heart. He spoke to me a lot about other trips that he wants to make. So it was a very good experience for me in that sense. I want to encourage you all to take a step and go out for a mission trip. It's not just about doing something. It's about the love you have with each other, the time you spend with each other. I mean, I saw the beach for the first time in Orissa. So, I mean, that was a new experience for me. It was a different kind of experience because it was a different mindset I had gone with, but I still saw the beach and I still saw God's beauty. And it's amazing when you just specially go for missions and you can see God's love in play. You can see God's word coming alive and just being there to support you throughout that whole time. So I'm really blessed by this trip, and I can't wait to have, I don't want to pray for another disaster, but I'm not going to do that. But as a church, we want to be ready. We want to have people who are willing to be part of this team, be a part of a team that is able to respond. It might be a fire, it might be an earthquake, it might be someone's house collapsed, some slum. Recently, I heard that 200 slums burned down just here in Delhi. If we had a team equipped, we could easily go there. We're not looking to be the heroes. We're not looking to be the first responders. We're looking to be there to create relationships, to rebuild those relationships that are hurting right there. We're looking to build a connect, help them through what they're going through. Maybe, I don't know, eventually help them rebuild their houses, stuff like that. I mean, it's a partnership. You tell me what skills you bring in, and I'll tell you what skills I bring in. And together we can do this work together. So that was a bit of my experience and what I had gone through there. The next steps would be if you're interested in joining the disaster response team, then just please get in touch with me. We have already a bunch of people who got trained recently by Michelle when she came from Saddleback. So I would love to take you through that training again eventually, if for those who didn't partake of that training. But just let me know about that. A little bit about other projects that are happening is we have a couple of projects that are lined up weekly, monthly, happening in and out of the city. So this is one of them that we are using to share the love of Christ. This project is very personal to me because when I came into Delhi for the first time, I had nobody, I had no friends, I had no people who I could call my own. Nobody who could pick up the phone and say, hi, you know what, I'm struggling with this and I don't know where to go to. So it's just very nice to have a warm, friendly, loving, gesture. Go and say hi to someone in the airport. They just come in for the first time. They don't know how to book cabs. They don't know how to make a call. Recently someone tried duping them 3,000 rupees from Gurgaon to Noida. So that was one of the things that they were able to do. Can I have the team come up here? Jayant, can you come up here? Nat, Candice, can you come up here? Can I have the mic? Thank you so much for taking the initiative to I know these bunch of people might look like they are very friendly people, but inwards, they don't really want to socialize with people. It takes an effort to go out and, make that effort to go out and be warm to people. So how was that experience for you?
Yeah, so the first time when we went for this initiative, people were also skeptical about us because they were also warned about people like us because a lot of times, they get fooled. But then when we actually told them that we are a church, we are a community, we are here to help, and you can ask us for any directions. So they were very keen on sharing their problems because a lot of times these taxi walas, they were charging exorbitantly high for something very close the place where they had to go, and a lot of times there was a miscommunication between the driver where to come and where to pick up. So we were able to do that. In fact, a couple from Australia had was completely lost for the past 45 minutes, and then when I went there and I tried to help, he was like, no, I don't need your help. But then I said that I can speak to your driver. He was giving him some direction, but he was not able to go there. So then I directed him, and he was so happy, and he offered me some money. But then I was like, no, I'm just doing it because we are a community that is here to help you. So it was a really a good blessing for us, all of us, to experience all of that, and the people were very very happy, and they felt really nice that there were a bunch of people who were doing all of this.
I think one really cool thing that Nitin basically did was there's a particular help desk over there outside, and it was very cool. Like, he just went, and for the longest time there was no one at that desk, and it says, "May I help you?" So so Nitin just went, and like we guys we just stood there, and then people were just coming in, and then we just gave regular answers. And then this guy comes in and he's the help desk guy. And then Nitin just starts talking to him and says, he introduces himself, introduces both of us and tells what we do. I mean, he just gives like a general brief. And then he asks all the information what these guys actually ask them. And then that was really nice because that guy was like, oh, okay. And he had to do his job, but he didn't want to do his job. So like he would just leave the counter and go or come back, you know. So that was pretty cool. And I think another thing is, yeah, the one struggle that we all have generally is that because of, you know, the other taxi drivers, not Uber and all, but the other ones who actually really want to cheat people, they just create a really rough patch for them. So because of that, a lot of them are just like, no, 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 no. So a lot of times we're very scared to even, go and ask them because like these guys just give a very rude answer. So most of the times our prayer also is like, Jesus, please, it's like, help us to be kind even if they're rude or something, you know, because that kind of doesn't feel nice. But I think that, and another thing that is really, it's not, yeah, it's peace and it's missions and all, but a really, really nice outcome is the group itself, the bonding of the group itself. Because yes, there are two, three aspects I would say. Yes, there is a spiritual aspect in which like we do get to pray together, and then we also have a lot of you guys praying for us. So we do bond on that. Then there is relational in terms of the group itself. Like we generally go out in twos, preferably like a male and a female. It's just easier because like if it's funny because if like one guy approaches like a bunch of tourists, and it's always easier if it's girl and guy. It's just, we found that formula useful, so in case anytime. So it was like we were paired very randomly, but whoever I was with, we just got to know each other a bit more better, and like that couldn't happen in another setting, I think. So as a group also, we get to have closer relationships, and that was another plus point that generally we have in missions. Plus then, of course, the spiritual aspect and the community, how you serve your community, and that just gives like a whole new level because it's pretty scary to go and talk to people outside the airport who they're already like, they've probably been on flights like 2 hours, 3 hours, or I don't know, 10 hours at times, but they're just disgusted and they don't want to meet anyone. They just want to sit in a cab and just go. They don't want to see anyone. But just to the ability to just handle, and I guess that just takes a lot, but it's pretty nice then. And then we do know why we're doing this. We don't really ever say that this is the reason why unless they ask us, but I guess that's really how it feels to be Jesus's hands and feet, like how he keeps saying.
Jayawant, you're an advocate and you don't have time a lot, and you got to travel like insane. So how are you able to take out time to do things like this?
Usually, whenever we've had this on a Sunday, I've been there. But yes, of course, it becomes very difficult because I stay also in Noida, and so airport is already 40 kilometers away from my place. So usually the airport is, there are a lot of incoming passengers during night, and it becomes a challenge because to go that side of the town and then go towards the complete opposite side, it is challenging. But yes, of course, I've kept this in prayer, and because I really want to help people, and that is what keeps me motivated. And Lord finds one way or the other for me to be able to be there. Yeah.
This morning I told the Noida guys, if you want to join them, please do. It's an adventure. So just the 20 kilometers down here is worth the trip. So so hopefully they can join. And part of this team is Rohitash, Nitin. I don't know where they are today, but Rohitash is probably at home now. They have been a huge support to the airport mission that we've been doing. Thank you so much for everything you're doing.
I think keep it down.
Eric, why don't you join me up here? Eric is part of our Care for the Sick team. I don't think that's working.
Check.
Yeah. So Eric and I had gone to recently check out the Nelson Mandela slum to basically see what all we can do there. and what is the possibilities of having health checkups, sustainable health, preventive health trainings and stuff like that. Um, but generally, everybody here is not a doctor. Then everybody here will not feel like they want to be part of this trip. So what are the ways that you see everybody getting involved in projects like this?
So we've kept learning, been learning during MBBS that health is not just a physical uh, deficiency. It should be, even if it's a mental state of being which is not good, or spiritual well-being is also taken into mind when we think of health. So as doctors, we're trained to mainly deal with the physical diseases, and often we forget the holistic development of people. So even like if I go into a slum, like we did in Nelson Mandela, I kept looking out for diseases, but that's not the problem. And lots of people struggle with not just mental illness, but also just being happy. You know, a lot of people are going through depression. A lot of people are looking for spiritual well-being, which is probably the most ignored. So if as if you're if you're not a doctor, then I'd say that almost all occupations have to deal with uh, uplifting society in one way or the other, whether it's business or whether any occupation you take it. We're all trying to lift society up. So if you have a skill that does that, and you're able to look at these people the way that I can't, then you're giving them that extra skill. You're basically looking for a holistic development of these people. So, so while we look at the other diseases and stuff, and we may not be able to look at the other things, it'll really help if we have a new set of eyes to look at them and see what you can do for them. It's more of a service of what you can do for them. I think anyone, if we just look at anyone else, and if we ask what, so as a doctor, if someone comes to me, I will, even if he has no complaints and he's just come for a visit, my question to myself would be, okay, what can I do best for him? If I can't treat him, what can I do for him? So similarly, if everyone comes up with their own way of helping them, that would be really good, whether it is education-wise or just speaking to them, taking care of the kids. See, because when we went to Nelson Mandela, they have toilets, they have drinking water. But you know how there's a vast difference between how we live life and they live life. I think we need to show them what life is. And I think it's more than material possessions. It's talking to someone. It's having that community. I think the aim would be to bring them that sense of community. And secondly, I think anyone who, I mean, all people who are still going to school and don't really have a skill yet, if you could come and just see how things go, and you know, in an exposure visit for you all, it'll be pretty cool.
Another thing that came up with the Nelson Mandela was a lot of the parents go out to work, so the kids are left behind. So while we were there, I was just thinking about a creche idea there. I mean, if the younger ones wanted to come and just take care of the kids for a few hours, while the parents went for their work, that would be an immense help for everybody there. So these ideas keep coming up as you go out, as you go and sense the need that these places have. And I don't know how was your experience with the RK Puram health camp?
So for me, a health camp, I mean, it's pretty routine to give out prescriptions and stuff like that. One thing which I found unique about the camp was we were partnering with another church, and I think it should be one of the aims to break the bridges between denominations and actually unify as a universal church. And in Delhi, it's not so hard. I think it was a good initiative. And secondly, I think to see the people there, when I went there, I think all I saw was potential, because we have a lot more potential to do things. Right now, the trust is not established yet. People with severe diseases weren't coming forward to us because, you know, and honestly, yeah, we went there with, you know, like small medicines, not really equipped to handle big diseases. So if we could establish a trust and then people would come forward, we could help them better. So I saw a lot of potential there, which can only be enforced if more of us come forward and if more of us are able to talk to these people. I think what really motivates me in doing these things is Matthew chapter 25, where you know, the people are asking Jesus, you know, when did we feed you, when did we clothe you? And he says, when you do what you do to the least of my brethren, you're doing unto me. So I think that's what you should do.
Thank you so much for a couple of projects I can announce for you that we are thinking about, we are praying about. I personally am looking for people who can partner with me. I'm looking for people who can intern with me and help me grow this ministry. As of right now, we are trying to push child ministries in the sense that we are thinking about orphan care. We're thinking about the crash thin in the slums. We're thinking about a lot of all these ministries that require support, require people to come alongside and just be with us for it. I would like to encourage you to align your day in such a way that you can give time to God, just give time towards helping others, serving the community, and just planning ahead. You know, it just makes your day a whole lot productive when you're able to plan it out and just do better. So feel free to meet me after the service. I'm here at the end, and I'd love to have a conversation with you. Thanks.